to Let's Talk with Lakshmee, a show about us, our people, our community, our experiences, our lifestyles. And today in the studio we have a Guyanese writer, Mr. Samuel Singh. Samuel will be sharing with us some of his experiences as a writer. Samuel, welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmee.
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Now Samuel, tell our audiences, what type of writer are you?
Well, it's hard to be definitive when you talk about what type of writer I am. I write basically everything under the sun, from poetry to short stories. I'm working on full-length novels, screenplays, plays, essays.
Okay.
Basically, if you've thought about it, I may have written it already.
Written everything, it sounds like. So Samuel, tell me, when do you find the time to do all this? Is this your sole means of income, or do you have
if it were my sole means of income, I'd be categorically known as a starving artist. But thankfully, I'm not. I find the time with great difficulty in between many of the things that I do. Once an idea pops inside of my head, I generally start writing it down. Sometimes that causes huge lack of sleep, sometimes for days. But if you're passionate about something, you will find the time to do it.
Of course. And we all are definitely struggling artists here in our community. Now, being from Guyana, are any of these books that you've written based in Guyana?
Actually, my voice here is actually a poetry anthology which is based on Guyana. Each and every single poem inside there is thematically based on Guyana and experiences. It's categorized, some of them philosophical and fantastic, poems about people, poems about protest, and you name it, there's something in there for everyone.
Okay, now is there anything in this book in Creole?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. May I?
Sure.
Yes. There are a number of things which are written in Creole. There's,
okay.
However, there's one in particular which was written. It's called Cha-Cha Cane Cutter.
Cha-Cha Cane Cutter. Okay,
Right.
this sounds like it's going to be really interesting.
Would you like to hear it?
Of course.
All right. Cha-Cha Cane Cutter. Me like how you cut last song, how it sing and chop cane. Me go talk your story. Me see you walk with blade and hook stick and on green bush of sugar cane. Cutlass a rise and cane a fall. Sun a shine hot and place heat bad. Till your muscle cover with plenty sweat. You know what to do cause you do 'em long. Fling and swing a cutlass blade. And whistle one old chutney tune bout rum. As cane a pile up plenty when your hand a pass up. Cha-cha, me just walk how you just walk with power. Chop for send sugar abroad, work for give your family food. Uncle, your hand and cutlass are work, not for your state quota, but for your picnic, who are in primary and high school. Sugar good and pay nice, but not for your picnic. Them got for make them life and learn from book. Cha-cha, me watch you every day and praise your strength, but you don't know. You work hard in Big Bag Dam, hook and chop and pile in pond. Like slave and coolie them does the long time back. Your heart beat like Tassa drum, one tune with thousands, walking for Guyana soil. Me know you praying, man dear, your head bow down when bell ring, shell blow, you ask for strength, praying for God bless you. Cha-cha, you never walk in vain. Me been a watch you for years, see how me respect you for a long time, and me honor you with them words this, Cha-Cha Cane Cutter.
Sam, that's excellent. Now that sounds like, definitely a poem that a lot of our Indo-Caribbean people can relate to. Let me ask you, where did you find the inspiration to write that?
Well, when I was living in Guyana, especially when I was living in Belvedere, where I spent my formidable years growing up, every morning you hear the estate whistle and you know that you see, if you wake up early, you'll see everybody waking up. Majority of the people used to work on the estates. They go there, you wake up early, you see the estate trucks passing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some neighbors who used to bring sugar cane for me, growing up. And you look at these people, and even my old high school was not far from the cane fields. I used to attend Quarantine Comprehensive Secondary.
Okay.
And you see
so you're from Burpees?
Yes,
okay.
I am. So you see these things, and it becomes ingrained in you, and a natural part of your upbringing and part of your culture. And there's not many many things written about people who do these things and who've been doing it for years.
Right.
So I just, by myself, decided, well, I might as well do something for these people who have been doing this.
Now that was excellent. Now I'm not sure if you have ever heard of a group called the Rajkumari Cultural Group.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Have you performed or given any of your poems or any of your work to them to perform? Because this sounds like something I can definitely see Preeta Singh putting on stage. It's excellent.
I've spoken to them a few times, but not about putting my work on stage, just socially.
Okay. All right. So tell us about this other book here, Spiritual Meandering. What is this book about? Spiritual
Meandering. This is a collection of spiritual, religious, metaphysical poems. This is more religiously based.
Now, what does it mean when you say metaphysical poetry?
Metaphysical poetry is a term which was coined in the 17th century. It has to do with metaphors and writing poems based on science and culture and religion. One of the founders of metaphysical poetry is one of the people who's been very inspirational to me, John Donne.
Okay.
Right. Using the works of John Donne and as well as many other poets that inspired me, I've came up with this.
So who are some other authors who've inspired you?
Well, there's quite a number of them. I have Walt Whitman.
Okay.
For instance, Whitman, who is known as a nature lover, right? His sanctuary, his inspiration for writing things was outdoors.
Nature.
Yes. So, and there's also William Wordsworth, who was sort of one of the pioneers for the Romantic era, the Victorian and Romantic era. There's also someone like Edgar Allan Poe, who was known for his horror and Gothic stories, but is also one of the founding fathers of the detective stories.
Okay.
Right. Not to mention
someone like Stephen King.
Stephen King is one of my biggest inspirations for my short stories as well.
Okay.
But one of the biggest inspirations for the poems, an entire category was dedicated to him, is Martin Carter. For his poems of protest, his style of writing, and the analogies in which he uses inside of his poems.
So tell me, Sam, when did this all start? Tell me a little bit about your journey before you wrote these two books.
It all started basically as far back as I can remember. I won a poetry competition in high school in Jamaica when I was I would say about 12 years old.
Jamaica Queens
Jamaica
or
West
Jamaica
Indies.
Okay.
Jamaica West Indies.
All right.
When I was in high school in Jamaica College, I won a poetry competition for a poem entitled Ivory, which I spoke about the ivory trade. And I've had a lot of help from in my writings from one of my English teachers. The name would sound stereotypical when you talk about Jamaicans, but her name was Mavis. Everyone used to call her Miss Mavis.
Okay.
She helped me explore a lot in terms of my writings, especially with the short stories.
Okay, great. Now, did you write anything in Jamaica as far as the Creole language of Jamaica?
No, at that time even up to like 5 and 6 years ago, I would say most of my writings I used to try and keep them prim, proper, formal, and it wasn't until I started more or less exploring with form and different types of poetry that helped me to get things done and open up new doors for me that I never knew existed.
So would you say your experience in Jamaica has helped you grow as a writer?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Because not only has it given me the necessary push in terms of being first published over there, I met Lorna Goodison, who's a Jamaican writer over there as well, and I remember she came to the school at one time and was talking to the students, and I had a book a simple notebook which I was writing down my poems, and I showed it to her.
Okay.
And she actually read some of them with me, and she's like, "This is good. You keep it up."
It's excellent.
And then I remember one of the things she said is, "I hope to be reading about you someday." And she signed the book.
And we will be. We definitely will be. Now, the characters in your poems and in the book, where do you find these characters? What inspires you to write about these characters?
The characters for many of my stories, they just pop inside of my head, and some of them I use from real life situations.
Okay.
You know, I use a real life situation because sometimes you hear the truth is stranger than fiction. So that's that's
true.
Yeah.
I think we all get that once in a while.
Yes, yes. Well, using that, I've written many stories. I've changed basically a lot of things. I've used certain scenarios in terms of characters. You know, you develop characters on your own. You give them certain real life personalities in terms of habits. You know, you study people. What makes somebody themselves? And then when you study that, you'll be able to give somebody, know the tone of their voice, what they look like, how they would dress, you know, how they would eat. And all of these, you combine them together, you have your character right there just waiting for you.
So, has anyone ever read your book and called you and said, "Were you talking about me?"
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. There is a poem in here, which is called Drunken Creativity.
Okay.
And
please share with us.
I wrote this one, and there's a picture inside. I don't know if you can see it, but there's four of us, myself and three of my friends.
Okay.
Right, and I wrote this poem one day after we were drinking, so hence the title Drunken Creativity. And we congregated, and they poured me liquor from a wide assortment. There was poetic anger and lyrical lynchings. Yes, and we refilled our cups. They told me about lines and verses, from learned Greece to now spoken word. We even clashed on art and enjoyed the interpretations, from Da Vinci to Picasso. Yes, and we refilled our cups. We spoke of history, Guyana and Europe, like Hadrian's Wall now clouding my vision. They raved and craved, pondering philosophy, and we laughed at Confucius. Yes, and we refilled our cups. We chopped at Chaucer and sneered at Shakespeare. They laughed at Peter Kempedu's beard and hair, and reinvented the protests of Carter. In the end, we resolved to write better than they. Yes, and we, as always, refilled our cups. There was a lot of refilling going on that day.
A lot of refilling. So all your friends called and said, "Was it about me?
Well,
Were you talking about us?"
They knew it was them because
them.
The picture accompanied it there as well.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Sam, as a Guyanese writer, and like I said earlier, it's very rare, and that's why we invited you on Let's Talk with Lakshmee, because it is a show about us and our people, and it's very rare that we do find a Guyanese writer in our community. So first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
But tell me, in your thoughts, what is your role as a Guyanese writer in our Indo-Caribbean community?
One of the things about being a writer is that you're able to cross borders. Okay. Right? You might start out with your roots from one place, and while that may be inspirational to you, you don't want to keep it stagnant. Okay. You want to keep it flowing, exploring. It's something which I would like to do. I started out, I paid homage to, with my first book, to where I'm from, but I don't want to keep it there. I would love if everyone from all ethnicities, all cultures, everyone to read this. Because it's not only something which I think everybody should read, it's also an educational piece as well. And if everyone would start to open up their minds and read more, especially about other cultures, then we'll start melting and blending in a little bit better with each other. I want to be remembered as someone who did their part to bring more people together. As a storyteller of sorts.
Now, as a storyteller, do you have any future plans of maybe making any movies? I know a lot of people start out writing, they write poems, then short stories, books, and then their books become movies. Any thoughts of that?
It's funny that you should mention that. I actually do write a lot of short films, and I'm working very diligently as of this time on two projects. One of them being a feature-length film script. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm working on two feature-length film scripts, and I'm converting them into novels as well.
Okay. So when should we be expecting that to come out?
Well, more or less when I'm finished with them.
Okay.
Those are more or less two long-range projects. The short films, they're finished much more quickly. I'm working on several other projects in terms of writing compilations for books. Those might be coming in within next year or the following one.
Okay, great. Now, Sam, if anyone wanted to contact you or purchase a book, where can they do that?
Well, my voice, this poetry anthology, which is based on Guyana, you can go on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, type in the words "my voice" and a comma, my name, Samuel Singh, S-I-N-G-H, and you can find it there. If you would like to get a copy of Spiritual Meandering, there's a website for the book, www.spiritualmeandering.com. That's spiritualmeandering.com. Felt as though I was doing a spelling bee there for a moment. If you would like to contact me, you may feel free to do so. I can give you my email address. It's samuelsingh1117@yahoo.com. So feel free to contact me if you'd like a copy or if you have questions about the book.
Okay, wonderful. And we're gonna put this on the website as well, so people can also go to info@Lakshmee in case you missed that. And we'll have maybe one or two poems from there on the website we can share with our viewers.
Absolutely.
So they can also read it and then hopefully purchase the book. Well, Samuel, it was a pleasure having you here on Let's Talk with Lakshmee.
Likewise.
I wish you well on all of your future endeavors. I can't wait to hear about the movie when it comes out. And also, I'd like to be at the next book signing when you have it.
Well, we can have one right now. Since I brought these are yours.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to have to get that signed.
L-A-K-H.
L-A-K-S-H-M-E-E. Thank you so much, Samuel. I'm going to enjoy these books. I'm going to read them.
And I expect to hear from you what you thought about them.
And I'm going to give you my feedback, definitely. I actually read some of your poems that you've sent me before in the past, and they're fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to cherish these books. And like I said, we're going to share it on the website as well. So viewers, you can go on info@Lakshmee to check it out. And also, we have yours scrolled on the bottom.
Yes.
And we can only wish you all of the best here at Let's Talk with Lakshmee, and I look forward to your future books and your future projects.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Association of Indians in America and New York Chapter President Mrs. Shushma Kodawala invite you to the 23rd Annual Diwali Festival at New York's South Street Seaport on Sunday, October 3rd, 2010. Please come and grab a meal from the many flavors of India, shop at the Meena Bazaar, and enjoy the festivities of the season. Lots of dancing, activities, and entertainment. The festival will start at noon and end with a spectacular display of fireworks by our grand sponsor, Air India. Free admission. We look forward to seeing you on October 3rd, 2010. Have a happy Diwali from everyone at AIA.
Protect your home and business with authorized dealer ADT Security Services. Advanced Protection Services, Inc., please call KC Kennedy at 718-699-1376 for all of your home and business alarm systems, CCTV cameras, access control, intercom, and telephone systems, making your home and businesses feel safe.
This segment of the program is sponsored by Mr. Frank Singh of Marine Funding, Inc. We have a mortgage for everyone.
Hello viewers, I'm now here at the beautiful Villa Russo, which is located on Lefferts Boulevard and 101 Avenue. I'd like to thank Mr. George Russo for holding an event here for the 119th Street Merchants Association. And today I once again ran into none other than Nick Comiani. Nick, I'm seeing you all over the place. Last week I was at the Kirtan Sammelan by VAT, and I saw you there. You were giving a speech to over 1,200 Indo-Caribbeans, and it seems like the crowd, everyone is loving you. So Nick, tell me, what are you doing today here at the 119th Merchants Associates Gala?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you, and thank you to see you again as well. And
nice
you're
to
all
meet
over
you.
the place too, of course, doing good reporting as well. And today I'm here to support the local merchants.
Okay.
I mean, this is a good event because it gets to let the merchants know one another. And one of the things in this tough economy is that the merchants know each other, and they actually, you'd be surprised how they could interact. Someone might go into a store and let's say it's a pharmacy looking for a phone, or a pharmacy looking for phones or something they don't have. So it's a good interaction between the business people of the area.
Yeah, the Merchants Association, they're doing a great job. I mean, anytime you turn around and you look, they're doing great things for the community, always giving back. So I'd like to thank Roger and the whole group of the 119th Merchants Association. So Nick, tell me, how is the campaign going?
The campaign is going very well. We have a lot of support out there. It's a grassroots campaign, so I'm bringing it to the people. I like to tell the people who I am and what I'm going to do, and basically the things that they've been deprived, but the current state, the state funding that's going on there as well, and all the cuts have been made. So I like to hear what the people have to say. I like to hear it firsthand, and you'd be surprised how many concerns people have. And if I may, one of the big things that the people do have out there, they feel very disconnected with their local elected officials. They feel that their voices are not being heard right now, and that's something we need to change in Albany.
Now, Nick, if you're elected to this seat, State Assembly, what can the Indo-Caribbean people expect from you?
Well, I'm working with many of the leaders in the area, Frank Singh, Lakshmee and many others. And one of the things that we're looking into the Indo-Caribbean community, especially the Richmond Hill area and South Ozone Park, is we don't have an activity center. There's nowhere for the young people to go, or a senior center. And that's one of the things we want to bring in here as well as I'm elected. And we'd like to allocate funds for that myself, and of course convince all the other colleagues in the area. And the other thing, of course, is we want to make sure that the Indo-Caribbean community has a very large population in Queens and New York City as a whole.
Very growing.
Right, very growing
Very
as well.
successful people,
yes,
business owners.
It's a working class, this is a working class culture. So it's not a culture that lags in the economy. This is a culture that comes here, they work very hard. And they many of them are homeowners, but they come here to excel.
Yes.
And one of the things they don't have is they have a lot of Indo-Caribbean population, but they don't have no representation of their own culture. So because the entire district in the Indo-Caribbean community is divided in approximately 6 parts. So one of the things that we want to do, myself and many of the leaders in the community, and I say myself because I'm also in the community, we want to create in this next redistricting a seat where an Indo-Caribbean person can run for the seat and show the representation according to the population that every other ethnic group in the city has of large quantity.
Now, if you're elected, you will vote for this extra seat.
Absolutely, because I will vote for it, because I will also take it out of my own district when we redistrict and give that 30% of Indo-Caribbean in my seat to make up the largest seat. I'm willing to do that, and that's something I will do.
Now, if an Indo-Caribbean person is elected for this seat, do you believe that would encourage more people to come out and vote? I mean, I know a lot of Indo-Caribbean people, they are a little bit laid back when it comes to voting. Do you think that's maybe something that would encourage that?
Absolutely. It'll be a big ethnic pride because when you have one of your own running for the first time,
right.
I mean, it does bring out that ethnic pride where finally you've been here, you've Americanized, we're now all Americans from all different cultures, and the people should be involved, and hopefully this will bring them out more. But this election is the election that we're going to do it in. This election is very important because whoever wins this election is going to be there to draw these lines and agree to these lines being drawn that way. So I can't stress it out enough. Please go out there and vote September 14. September 14 is what's going to make the seat. It's a Democratic seat, so the Democratic primary is essentially an election that's going to determine the seat. And we definitely, the people need to go out there and vote. Your community, this election will make your community for the next 10 years. So for the next 10 years, whatever happens next year, that's what you're going to have to live with. So make sure you go out there and vote. My opponent is not something he will do, but that's something I will do. And my opponent has not even reached out to the Indo-Caribbean community in the way that I have as well, because obviously I do have friends in the Indo-Caribbean community. And
yeah, like I said, everywhere I'm going, I'm
like
seeing
yourself,
it, right? So again, so if you were to be elected in that seat, you would then help for the next time around an Indo-Caribbean person to have a seat in our community. Well, I think that's wonderful. So, Nick, congratulations.
Thank you very much,
You know,
and it was nice meeting you here again. Because I'll tell you,
all the time.
ladies and gentlemen, she's here all the time too. She's everywhere, and your show's fabulous.
Thank you.
And you do great reporting as well. If you haven't watched her other piece, like at the World Trade Center, the mosque, it was excellent.
They can catch it online.
Absolutely.
So, Nick, again, congratulations. Viewers, remember, please go out and vote on September 14th. It's very important. Every vote counts.
Well said.
Viewers, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with none other than Samuel Singh, who is an incredible author, writer, poet in our community. He's doing a wonderful job in all of his writings. Please do go out to the next book signing and make sure you get one of his books. Again, go online. We have all his information on info@lakshmee.com, where you can also purchase a book. And viewers, please do remember to go out and vote on September 14th. It is very, very important. Every vote counts. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. It's a date. Let's talk.
Association of Indians in America and New York Chapter President Mrs. Shushma Kodawala invite you to the 23rd Annual Diwali Festival at New York's South Street Seaport on Sunday, October 3rd, 2010. Please come and grab a meal from the many flavors of India, shop at the Meena Bazaar, and enjoy the festivities of the season. Lots of dancing, activities, and entertainment. The festival will start at noon and end with a spectacular display of fireworks by our grand sponsor, Air India.
Mr. Michael Bloomberg to say a few words.
Free admission. We look forward to seeing you on October 3rd, 2010. Have a happy Diwali from everyone at AIA.